I discovered the note-taking system of the top at 0.1% students, and it's not what you think. The average student follows a note-taking system that looks like this, but doesn't realize that this is a surefire way of wasting time and mental energy. In fact, the top students use a completely different system to achieve grades that put them in the top at 0.1%. So, what do these students know that we don't? What note-taking system are the top at 0.1% students using? The best students follow 2 simple steps. In this video, we'll walk you through them all. The first step is the one that is by far the most important, yet it's the one that we least expect. You could have the most comprehensive notes in the world, but if you have to spend additional time figuring out the context of information every single time you need something, you're likely to use up a lot of mental energy before you even get a quality study session in. That's why step 1 of having the best note-taking system is to take less notes. Most of us think that having the best notes means having a document or a book that covers every single information in the subject. And by the time we finish our notes, we think, now it's time to remember all this. This is the type of thinking that average students have. We think having comprehensive notes means better studying, which then leads to better grades. This is a very inefficient method of studying. All you're doing is spending additional time perfecting and making your notes pretty and neat. And if you only have less than a month to study after all of that, no matter how good your notes are, you will have overloaded your brain with information. You won't remember it all, your understanding is average, and your grades won't blow up. Instead, take that time to use the majority of that energy to understand the concepts presented to you in your lectures, and use note-taking only to offload your limited cognitive capacity. This was recently confirmed by Justin Sung in his interview with Kajun Koi Academy.
The information is coming in and they're straight away just putting it down. And they're focusing so much on offloading it, they're freeing up mental resources, but those mental resources are not doing anything.
Imagine having a conversation with a friend and jotting every single word they say instead of listening and processing the information in a meaningful conversation. You're doing the exact same thing with learning. You want to first listen and think about what is being presented to you. Process that and link it to previous information you've learned. Note-taking should be an extension of your thinking and should exist to offload some of that cognitive capacity by jotting down keywords or diagrams that are meaningful to you. Generally, they should be short, memorable cues to concepts that you've been thinking about, and should effectively improve your retention or overall understanding. There is no right or wrong way to writing down notes. It only matters if it makes sense to you. You might find that your notes will often be limited, but this is important to give you time and the cognitive capacity to first process, understand, and then remember concepts. After you've done this, you're ready to move on to the most crucial part of your note-taking, the diagrams. This is often the most underutilized way of demonstrating information and also the part that separates the top at 0.1% to the rest. If you can improve your understanding of how information and concepts are linked, you will by default improve your retention of information and an even deeper understanding of the system. To do this, the top 0.1% of students apply a 2-step formula to the notes. First, they create a diagram to represent the concept they've learned. And second, they constantly re-update the diagram to link information to each other. Let's take a look at an example. Check out how the heart works to pump blood around the body. Now we see that both the heart affects the kidneys and vice versa, as well as the lungs and the brain and muscles. Did you catch it? This is the way top students conceptualize and understand information. They're literally thinking like a diagram, whereas an average student understands an organ and its function independently from each other based on what the class covers. Sound familiar? If we learn to link the function of these organs, we see that they are connected and influence each other. This establishes an even greater understanding beyond what each class teaches you and improves your understanding of how each concept is linked to each other, exactly like a diagram. This might seem like an extreme amount of work and mental effort to achieve higher grades. But our note-taking and learning skill is exactly like a muscle. The more we do it, the easier and efficient it becomes. So if there's anything you should take away from this video, it's to make sure that note-taking is an extension of your thinking, and you should use your time in your lectures to think about what is being taught and jot down short notes to offload your cognitive capacity. And use diagrams to represent your understanding of concepts and how they are linked, and to constantly update them as you learn further. Even incorporating smaller parts of what you learn here will gradually build you up to this system, as it is an ongoing learning process. You're going to want to check out this video on how to revolutionize your exam preparation and grades with ChatGPT. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.